So I've been absolutely pumping content out of this new studio recently for my personal brand, but Prism and Tropic. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably been seeing a lot of that new content. And the reason I'm able to just pump it out so quickly and so efficiently and also have it look good is because of this new, kind of studio office space that I've created and built for myself. So I figured, why not take the time and in today's simple kind of just like vlog video, give you guys a tour of the studio, all of the pieces of gear that I'm using to have this kind of streamlined process for shooting, editing, and creating these short form pieces of content. And yeah, hopefully it'll kind of motivate and inspire some of you guys, as well as maybe give you guys some ideas on some creative ways that you too could streamline your process and create content. And yeah, so let's get to it. All right, so first and foremost, as we enter the studio, there's like kind of, I want to say 3 different sections. And one of them is my little shooting corner. Then we have the edit corner. And again, another kind of shooting production corner with a top-down rig. And so I'm going to walk you through kind of the 3 core pieces here of how I'm able to just kind of bust through pause and shoot content so quickly. So typically what I've been doing is I have rigged this Amaran F22C via a clamp, which I made a short form piece of content on that actually kind of blew up and went kind of viral. But I have it rigged up there. So there's not much space in this office, and to have a stand and a light just taking up room right there, I just figured the most efficient way to light any sort of talking head short form piece of content is to rig it up there. So I can just pop on that light and change it right here, which leads me to like where I typically sit for this content, which is right here in front of my Fuji. So typically that chair is what I sit in. I'll bring that over. I have like a mark that I always sit in right here. And then the camera that I'm using to shoot all the short form pieces of content is my Fujifilm GFX 100S2. I recently picked this thing up. This thing's an absolute monster. And the reason I picked it up was for a camera that can do both video and photo really, really well. And so that's why I picked that up, so that on shoots, I could do video, but then just change this dial to stills mode and shoot some amazing photos, because the Fuji cameras just obviously have an amazing look and shoot amazing photos. So I use this Benro like photo tripod that I can 90 degree it. So all the short form pieces of content I shoot vertical, and then I have this just cheap Freewell monitor off the top hot shoe here, and I have it swiveled around so I can make sure the shots in focus and good. And I bounce between 2 different lenses. Right now, I've absolutely been loving this lens. It's a TT Artisan 50mm 1.4. And then I typically rock magnetic Dream Effects on the front. This is quarter strength here on that. So I'll bounce, depending on what I'm shooting, the 2 lenses I'm using are this 50mm and then this Fujifilm GFX, let's see here, 32 to 64mm. And so this obviously just has a little more focal ranges, and why I'll use that sometimes. So yeah, that's kind of the camera setup. And I use this photo tripod because it's very thin, lightweight, can move it around. And again, I can easily tilt the camera vertically to shoot the content. So that's the camera setup. It pretty much always lives in this corner. And then once I need more angles, I just pull it out and get all the different angles around here in the studio. And yeah, I sit right here, lit by this Amaran. And that's pretty much the shooting element of it all. But why this is so great is, like, I usually do my talking heads right here. And instead of needing any sort of like teleprompter, I'll pull up my script. Sometimes I freestyle it, sometimes I have it scripted, but I'll pull up my script right here on my computer, and I'll just kind of look and reference it and be like, okay, that's what I need to talk about. And then I talk about it to camera. And I try and do it as organically as possible that way, so it doesn't feel like I'm reading a script. Sure, I could go the teleprompter route, but again, I'm trying to minimize space and just, I want to streamline things. And for me, it's easy to just riff off a bullet point or remember a line and just do line by line, kind of just going through it. So I'll read a line, memorize it, or just wing it, go to camera, look at my next line, go to camera. That's kind of what I've been doing for that. So after I shoot that, and let's say I need B-roll of certain things, I will then around the space shoot B-roll. But typically I'll come over here to the top-down rig that we have rigged up, red Komodo, and I'll bounce between two different lenses, which I'll show you here. But I use this top-down rig for a lot of the B-roll inserts, you know, whether it's like top-down insert of pieces of gear or me talking to camera or, you know, changing things around here. So you'll see that in a lot of the short form pieces of content. The two lenses that I'm using are this PL mount Sigma 18-35, so I can get super wide, but also zoom in and get tight. And usually that top down will look something like this, where it's like on this kind of cutting mat that I use, which I just picked off Amazon. I've got like 2 of them here. So I got 2 cutting mats. I just think they look cool on camera, look kind of tactile, because the wood's cool, but I think it just adds another layer and texture. So I'll shoot red Komodo. This pretty much camera does not leave this top-down rig. It's locked in here. I just power it on, and I have cables running to my small HD monitor here, so I can also see what's going on here. There is a screen here, so I'll reference that, but also reference that. And the 2 lenses that I use, let's see if it's in here, yup. Which you've been seeing if you've been watching the short form pieces of content. That super wide kind of fisheye look is this Rokinon 8mm. I've had this lens for damn near a decade. I think it's like 10 years old. It's absolutely amazing. I think it's like 200 bucks, super cheap, but that's what I've been using for those like super wide kind of fisheye top down angles. And then when you see something that's not fisheye, it's this 18-35 Sigma. Again, magnetic Dream Effects right on the front of that. I do not shoot anything without Dream Effects on the front of my lens. Camera's still booting up. That's the one thing about res, man. They take forever to boot up. But again, lighting wise, same thing as this one over here. 2 Amaran F22Cs. I don't have a grid on these because I just want them to kind of spill as much as possible and create as much even light. The reason I have a grid on this one is to focus the light on me sitting here in this chair, and I don't want it to kind of spill across the room because I usually have these on 2 different color temps, right? This one will usually be warm, this one cool, or if these are a color in the background, daylight to contrast that color. So 2 Amaran F22Cs that again are rigged up to the speed rail right here. Everything's just always powered on by this power strip over here that we built in. So I'll come in here and I can completely dial this in on a whim, whatever I need for the shot. Here we go, it's set up now. So we'll go zoom out. So you can see kind of what that looks like. Just a good top-down angle. I think top-downs are instrumental when you're creating content, especially in the like film and tech space, and having a good top-down setup just always looks really good to cut away to and then cut back from. So yeah, this is just like a permanent top-down rig setup, and something I use for lots of cutaway B-roll and whatnot. These posters, I get asked about these posters all the time. They're just more for aesthetics. I have them around the office. It's from Sandgrain Studio. Sandgrain Studio makes these really cool posters. Yeah, we built in this kind of commercial electric power strip here that can charge everything. So as I need to charge batteries, I come over here, plug everything in, charge it up. Little charging station just off to the side. I could probably clean this up better, like maybe like under there, and so it's out of the way. But for now, it's just kind of over there. Yeah, shout out also Shopify plaque. We hit 100,000 orders on Tropic Color, and Shopify sent us this really cool plaque, which I unboxed in a video. I don't know if I'll put it in this video or a different video, or if this video will strictly just be office tour. But then yeah, under here is just kind of back stock of stuff. Like this box is just filters that I've opened to use for product shots and kind of leave them in there if I need them again. I've got these little Amaran tube lights that I've been using. So I have a 1-footer and a 2-footer. So I have also grids for these, which you can kind of see here. This is for the 2-footer, but I have these on standby, always charged for like close-up detail shots and just kind of on the go stuff here in the office where I need just a quick little pop of light, because I don't really have any lights on stands to light, because I pretty much just maneuver, or not maneuver, I use these to light everything. And what's cool about this too, being in this position, I can kind of swing it and pivot it to highlight the desk. So when I'm shooting B-roll shots, me editing or working at the desk, I can kind of light myself there Then yeah, I just have curtains covering the windows, but I chose like kind of these white creams, so it still kind of lets in a little soft daylight, doesn't completely black it out. Got this couch, just a little sitting corner. Usually sometimes if I'm making or posting content, I'll come relax over here as I'm just kind of working through captions or story posts or whatever. But yeah, so once I shoot there, then I shoot my B-roll here, then I just take the memory cards, come right over here, and I dump the memory cards to my computer. I got this new Lexar professional workflow where I can dump like just so many different cards at once. So I'll dump. My big back storage are these OWC hard drives. I use the space shuttle for portable work stuff, but in terms of like huge back storage, I mean, this is like over 200 terabytes of storage right here. That's what I use, OWC, for long-term storage. And then I just bring in the footage and I just start editing right here. And I have just kind of a pre-done timeline that I follow where I use all the same sound effects and kind of sound design elements, the same color. So as soon as I bring it in, chop it up and export. So like having everything kind of all in this one space where I can shoot the talking head, shoot the B-roll, then dump and edit and export is really been super, super helpful. This is, trying to think if there's like anything else that I really need to touch on that's been super instrumental. This, which I'm actually using right now to record, the Hollyland Lark M2 mics. You can see if let's see here, turn it around. Using that right now to record this, by far the best like kind of wireless mic thing that I've ever used for content. I used to use the DJI mic and didn't really like it, and then I got this one and I like it so much better. So, and none of this is sponsored, by the way. No one is paying me to talk about any of this stuff. I'm trying to think what other gear wise. Obviously I've got all my Prism lens effects, filters that I use. These are my threaded ones, these are my magnetic ones, and these are my smaller 49mm magnetic ones for the Fuji and the Artisan. What else? Yeah, so Amaran lights have been a game changer. Love these things. The mic's been super helpful. And honestly, bro, or guys, sorry for saying bro, this Fujifilm's incredible. I've been shooting tons of video with it, tons of photos, and just right out of camera, this thing's absolutely gorgeous. I think this is the baby brother to the 100 II. This is the 100S II. So it was $5,000 instead of like $8,000 or $9,000. I forget what the 100 II is, but yeah, that's pretty much the gear that I use on a regular basis to shoot and make my short form content now. So I'll put links to kind of some of the main stuff that I talked about in the video description below. If you guys have any questions about something you saw in the tour or the video, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to answer those questions. And yeah, go follow me on Instagram to stay up to date with all the short form pieces of content and things that I'm putting together. I've just found that I myself like creating short form pieces of content so much more than long form YouTube videos. I don't mind documenting my life and doing stuff like this for YouTube. This kind of like easier to like put together raw, talk about certain subjects or walk you through stuff or vlog my life with my phone. But I don't find too much joy and fulfillment in making big long form YouTube videos. And so yeah, I've just found a new kind of found enjoyment in creating short form pieces of content, not only for myself, but for my other brands as well, like Prism Lens Effects, Tropicolor, the studios, etc. So yeah, go shoot me a follow. Any questions, drop a comment below. Appreciate y'all. See you on the next video.